Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. You've got to ask where Errol Spence is with his career now, because he was meant to fight Sebastian Fundora. This was probably going to be, I think it was scheduled for March 29th, but it's off. And Spence on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called, he said, look, I'll return when I'm ready. That's how he phrased it. But for the time being, he's not fighting. Now, when you're ready, well, you've been out of the ring for, what was it, 18 months or more now? And you were being given an opportunity at one of Fundora's belts. I think the WBO said they weren't going to allow Spence to fight for their title because he hadn't fought at 154 before, and he was coming off a knockout loss. But Fundora does have two of the belts, so it would have been an opportunity for Spence to pick up the other one had he beaten Fundora. But you've got to ask, where is he in his career now? Because he's 34. He was given a horrendous beating by Bud Crawford, who himself has only fought once since then and didn't look great at 154 against Madrimov. But for Spence, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of worry about him, even prior to fighting Crawford. He had that horrendous, car crash where his Ferrari disintegrated. I mean, it seemed to. Well, are they made of fiberglass or something? Some of these cars, these high-performance cars, it sort of turned to dust, and Spence was slung out. For God knows how he survived, but he did survive. It's quite miraculous that he wasn't killed. And people were saying he tends to talk with a slur. Now he's got that Texas drawl, hasn't he? So that may not be entirely true. And also, I think he wears dentures, which means that if you ever wear dentures, you know that you can't quite pronounce all your words correctly. But Spencer said, look, I do worry about brain trauma. And he says he has checkups every once in a while. He gets scanned, and just to make sure there's been no great deterioration. He's also had out of the ring problems because he left Derek James. I think they sued each other. I don't know where they stand with that. Did one cancel the other out? I don't know what's going on with him. But this is the point. Spence's career is just in total limbo now. And for Fundora, I mean, it's not ideal for him because he hasn't fought since that bloodbath with Tim Tszyu where he won the WBO title. And one of the others, what was the other one he won? I can't remember offhand which one it was. It'll come to me in a minute maybe. But he's got two of the belts now. And he hasn't fought since he won them. So he really needs to, to get his wheels in motion. Although he's a young man, he's not old at all. He's got plenty of years ahead of him. But if you win a title or two, you want to be going for undisputed. You want to be making serious money. You want to be racking up a legacy. So he's kind of been placed on ice in a sense also. But I think he probably will get a replacement. That's what's been said here. He'll get a replacement for, again, March the 29th was the supposed date. And, probably he'll fight again. But, of course, I don't know. I mean, this freakishly tall Fundora, 6'5", isn't he? At 154, amazingly tall for the weight. There aren't many fighters that are going to want to take him on at short notice, not if they're serious about winning. I imagine you'll be bringing in a very sort of specialist type of sparring partner to prepare for that fight, because he's got to be the tallest 154 pounder in the world. So you'd probably bring in very tall light heavyweights to prepare. I say that, it's short notice, but of course, what are we in mid-January? So it's probably 10 weeks, another 10 weeks. So it could be a full camp maybe. But there is some talk, I think, of, was it Conwell, Charles Conwell, fighting him, being the replacement. Mike Coppinger is the one that I think broke this news and has been. He's normally quite a reliable, he's got his ear to the ground, quite a reliable journalist. I think it is Charles Conwell they mentioned as a possible opponent. I think the other belt, by the way, is the WBC belt. I'm going through it in my mind. But at 27, Fundora does have time, and but I mean, at 27, I suppose you could argue if he's pretty much in his prime now. So you want to make hay while the sun shines. And I suppose ideally Fundora and Bud Crawford would be a great matchup, because Crawford got the IBF, and I mean that would be unification for 3 of the belts. Yeah. And of course that's money. It would be great, wouldn't it, if Fundora could, now that Errol Spence has bailed, if he could fight and maybe even beat the man who beat Spence, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, Fundora, he's been knocked out by Brian Mendoza a couple of fights ago, 2-3 fights ago, so he wouldn't have a chance against Bud Crawford. I don't agree with that at all. I think he would, because I think anyone who has those dimensions, and I know he fights small, Fundora. I know he's like an even taller, more wiry version of Diego Corrales, who was another tall fighter for his weight, but used to fight very small, very up close, like lots of infighting. But yeah, Bud Crawford against Fundora, if they were going to put that together, they would probably want to build it up, have them on the same card against different opponents and so on and so forth. But I don't know. What do you think about it? What do you think about Spence? Because to me, I'm always a bit reluctant to say fighters should retire, because I don't know the full story of what they're going through, and ultimately it's their decision. But I do wonder if Spence really wants to fight again, or whether he's just enjoying those millions that he made, because he was extremely well paid, not just for the Bud Crawford fight, but for the fights he had previously. Whatever you think of Al Heyman, he did pay. He pays his fight as well. He makes sure they get paid. Does he want to fight again? I don't know. Maybe he does. You tell me what you think about Spence. Do you think he's finished? Do you think... I'd like to have seen him have a 10 round at 154 just to see how the land lies with him. But let me know what you think. And yeah, do you think he'll ever come back? If so, when? Let me know your opinions. Comments below, of course, as usual. Thank you for watching the video. If you could hit the like button, that would be great. And if you could subscribe to the channel if you're new, you'd be helping us out a great deal. I always appreciate you giving me your time, because there's a million things you could be doing, but you're right here watching this video. So thanks very much, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.